So this handwritten will was submitted to the court, and this was photocopied by the court. This is on record. You can see my wife and I signed it, and there's my dad's signature, December 27th, okay? All right, and in the will it says, to all concerned, being of sound mind, I hereby leave my entire estate to my son Oliver. My house and all the artwork, paintings, and prints Oliver will decide to give his brother, Andreas, a fair percentage of all sales of artwork. Andreas and I had a discussion, and he stated that he had no interest in maintaining the house at 1 Rescue Street. Now, my brother would like to have people believe that that's not the truth. Just like he would like to have people believe that this didn't happen to him, that my father didn't have to pay $100,000 on this particular occasion, okay? And Andreas would like to believe that this letter evicting him from here didn't happen. Okay? He'd like to pretend that my dad isn't even dead, right? And my dad didn't leave all this here for me, okay? When Andreas maybe has some type of realization and comes out of his delusional reality, an alternative set of facts, and has some type of empathy and remorse and sympathy for what he's done to us, that he would want an explanation as to why he was left with absolutely nothing. Okay? And so the police, the nice officer who just came in here, had to serve me papers again, okay, interrupting me from what I'm doing to try to survive and save this house. Okay? And that in itself is a form of harassment. It's not the police officer's fault. They're following orders because it says on the paper that, oh, he wasn't officially evicted here. Oh, but guess what? Your dad also didn't have cancer, too. He didn't also have an ileostomy. He didn't also have me as the only person taking care of him. So shame on my brother. This is not harassment. This is sad. This is sad. And when I've calculated all the court fees, all the time I've taken off of work, all the cabs and taxi trips I had to take because my car is sitting in the driveway, unable to be driven, okay? And the other car I have is broken, and the reason it can't be driven because the title that was my father's car that we shared, that I drove back and forth because my car broke and the other car broke, okay, that we shared, and the title is in his name. I have a death certificate, but I don't have the official paper from the court because that's all being delayed in all a mean, malicious kind of way. So when I calculate all the money I spent on fees for the court and meeting with lawyers and going back and forth since my dad died holding my hand, and I found my brother breaking in here and stealing his stuff and terrorizing my wife and I would say it set me back more than just a couple $1,000s that I really couldn't afford to spend. It set me back emotionally from grieving the loss of my best friend and my dad, who did not abuse us, who did everything for us. And because my dad felt bad for me, because at 9 years old, I had to be the man of the house, okay, in what at the time was a very racist and conservative town, moving from Mount Vernon, having never been brought up to say the N-word, having constantly being picked on and bullied at school, had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, chop wood before going to work to heat the house. My dad felt he felt bad. He was a little hard on me. So he spoiled the living daylights out of my brother. And every time he got in trouble, kept bailing him out. That's why you see me, I'm into nature. You could say whatever you want about me. I don't fit into the box, but I'm not your stereotypical hippie either, okay? And I'm not a drug addict, and I'm not a junkie. I'm a very kind person. Nobody's perfect, but that's why you see me the way I am, and my brother trying to be a thug, trying to be gangster, never smiling in a single photograph. That's the sad reality of what's affecting me in my life. And I'm not posting this to harass my brother at all. I'm posting this to vent and share my life story in the hopes that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can go fund me and my business and my artwork, because my father died in poverty and in obscurity, and I took care of him, and I need your help. Please. Okay? It's very difficult as it is to afford an attorney that requires a $7,500 retainer. For most people, I think it would be. However, if you go and you subscribe to my channel and you make it go viral, at least one of my funnier videos, which I'll get around to posting them, okay? Because my brother tried to use a lot of my YouTube videos against me to try to say that I was intoxicated or mentally ill or crazy, okay, I've had to take some of them down, okay, and edit them a little bit. But then I realized when he tried to do that in the court, the whole court erupted in laughter because it was funny. And the judge determined that nothing in my YouTube videos were of a threatening or harassing nature. They were, in fact, a comedy. And I apologize, Your Honor, for actually laughing, because the whole courtroom was laughing, except for the one officer. And I'm not trying to make light of it or disrespect the court in any way. But it was determined that my YouTube videos were funny and not of harassing in nature. And you know, sadly, they're not all funny, because some of them are just documenting my life and my diary, and that's inspired by my father, who documented my life since a baby, since surviving a terrible cancer, okay? And I share that with a lot of people, but, you know, my dad documented my whole life in a diary. And that's what I'm doing on my YouTube channel, and if Andreas wants to interpret that as harassment, well, that's too bad, because I'm not trying to slander him. I'm trying to actually garner some support with the advice of counsel, because this is a terrible thing to have to go through after you lose a loved one. To have a sibling claim that they live here and they claim they have rights to be here and harass me and assault me and scare my wife is terrified, okay? So thank you kindly for your support, and yeah. Once again, I'll be back in court. You know, I have much better things to do with my life than to be dragged into court like this. But again, you know, according to my brother, none of this really happened. It's as if he's in a Woody Woodpecker commercial where they kept going, if Woody had gone straight to the police, none of this would have ever happened. It's almost as if he's living in a delusion of epic proportions, okay? Where he wants to deny what he did, okay? And it's his problem. If he doesn't want to disclose on a job application that he has a felony and what the reason was for it, nobody's going to hire him or anybody. And that's my advice to anybody who's been convicted of a felony. Yeah, really. You should disclose why on your job application. And you should stop harassing my wife and I. We've had enough. I've had enough, Andreas, of you trying to show up at the house. You're terrorizing me. You're sending the police over here with these fake orders of protection or accusations of damaging your property and harassment. I've had enough. Please stop. Please stop. It's enough.